Welcome everybody to IAG's Trade Talk here in Media City at ICE Barcelona, and very pleased to be joined by none other than Richard Howarth, the Chief Business Officer Asia Pacific for GLI. Richard, first of all, welcome to our cosy little setup here.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. Yeah.
I understand this is your first time going to ICE actually, so here in ICE Barcelona. What's been your general impression of the week so far?
Yeah, it's my first ICE, definitely spoiled having it here in Barcelona, so I'm told, versus the weather from London. But first impressions are fantastic. It's a massive show. It's great to be here, and not just with GLI colleagues from all over the world, talking up with new ideas and new directions, but also engaging with all of our customers here. And in fact, a lot of those customers are familiar faces up from the Asia Pacific region that have joined the conference here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've made a long trip from Sydney to be here. So what's sort of been the main benefit for you from being in this part of the world this week?
Yeah. Well, the main benefit is to be able to share and understand the latest ideas that are coming out of Europe is one thing, but the business is so global now. It's sharing and understanding those ideas, in particular how they're relevant to some of our emerging markets, Japan being a key lead one, others such as Thailand coming up, and even New Zealand offering up the online wagering licenses in 26. There's still a lot of conversations about that and how those will be addressed. Yeah.
So within the GLI framework, obviously you're a global company, operating all around the world, of course. So do you have a lot of conversations with your European colleagues about what they're doing and how that can translate to Asia, and perhaps vice versa?
Yeah, more and more actually, Ben. It's something that we've worked a lot on actually in the last 6 months. A lot of our clients and customers are global businesses. So it doesn't sort of stop and start at Asia Pacific or North America or any of the other jurisdictions. For example, Brazil opening up, that was a total effort by GLI right across the world in many of our test labs to make sure that a lot of the customers are able to open up in Brazil.
Sure. Now, tell me a bit about what's sort of been the focus for you back in Asia Pacific recently, and what you're sort of looking at over the next 6 months or so.
Yeah, the focus for us there is growth. The markets are evolving, and that evolution is growth. We've continued to build on our team both in Australia, so Melbourne, Adelaide and Sydney. Our numbers are expanding there. We're putting on a number of new test engineers there, but also expansion in our Macau office. We've put on Paulo da Silva up there to do a lot more of the business development and really have strong feet on the ground there as well, as regulatory areas start to open up, such as Thailand recently, as we saw in the news a couple of weeks ago. So it's about us growing, but also being on top of everything as far as our customers go. Yeah.
So when we talk about emerging jurisdictions, you mentioned Thailand, I guess UAE as well is one, we've got Japan coming. So I guess part of what you guys have to do is stay on top of what the regulatory developments are there, what the framework is going to look like moving forward.
Yeah, stay on top of it and work with those regulators in advisory capacity. I mean, we know that Thailand have got that release through Cabinet, but it's still got to go through Parliament. But we're there to help and work on, what are those standards? How does it work? What does the regulator put in place? Not dissimilar to Japan. We've had a lot of great meetings with the JCRC throughout the last 12 months, and again here at ICE. So yeah, it's very much staying on top of it and understanding what it's going to be for the manufacturers as well, and just how it all will work. Yeah.
So Richard, talking about Thailand, I mean, what are your thoughts on sort of the timeline for Thailand? When do you see things starting to become a reality there?
Yeah, well, Thailand's definitely the topical jurisdiction in Asia at the moment, along with Japan. But it's gone through Cabinet. It still has to go through Parliament. There's a bit of guessing there, but I suppose it would be in the next 6 to 12 months. I know that doesn't really bring it down to any specific timing, but it still has to go through Parliament. We'll be talking with the Ministry of Finance there as well to ensure that we're on top of what's going on with that when it actually occurs, and obviously when they form a regulatory body. Yeah.
And obviously you work with a lot of the suppliers as well, and I mean, they're obviously starting to look at in Thailand as well. They're pre-planning, I guess.
Yeah, definitely pre-planning for Thailand. But that's the nature also of the Asia Pacific and broader Asia region. You've got to be ready at many times, and we saw that with New Zealand coming out with online wagering licenses for 2026, and then we saw it with Thailand. Thailand were pretty clear that they wanted to be active way back even at G2E last year, G2E Asia I should say, last year, so it was no surprise when they came out with that, but you still have to be on top of it. Yeah.
Sure. And in Japan, obviously, you mentioned, I know that you're doing a lot of work in Japan, and it's quite interesting what's happening there. So can you tell us a bit about what the work that GLI does in Japan?
Yeah, well, GLI is a registered test lab in Japan, as you're probably aware, so that's good for us. We all know that Japan is looking for launching that Casino 2030. It would be a significant sized casino, so there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to go in there, which means a lot of testing for us. So we'll be looking to set up a specific lab there and testing the machines and being ahead of the time, obviously being ahead of 2030, but getting that all in place ready for all of our customers to ensure that they're ready for launch.
I know you're also heavily involved with the pachinko industry in Japan. Is that sort of beneficial in terms of preparing for the casino market coming in Japan later on?
Well, I think it's beneficial in the way that we're a registered testing laboratory there, and we understand the market, we understand the culture, so that really helps. And Ian Hughes setting that whole infrastructure up has been a real benefit for us, and will be in future. With the JCRC, they really know that we're in there. They're already working with them on that, and it just helps us prepare for the next phase in what wagering industry will be in Japan from 2030 onwards.
And Richard, I know that I see you at a lot of events around the region, and obviously here in Barcelona as well. What's the travels in terms of events for the rest of the year look like for you?
Well, there's some great events. The ice is fantastic here, but we've got some really good things that we'll be attending for the rest of the year based in Asia Pacific. We've got Regulating the Game coming up in March. G2E Asia will be great. I think that show will grow more and more, and that's in April. And then, of course, we've got the Australasian Gaming Expo in August in Sydney, Australia, and that was incredibly popular last year, and I think in particular with regulators that'll continue to grow. Yeah, so looking forward to that.
And of course the IAG Expo in September.
And of course I only talked about the first 6 months, and then the second 6 months is dominated by the IAG Expo in September, which also includes the IR Awards dinner and also the tip party as well, I believe. Yeah, Mad, sorry, yeah.
But there will be tip at G2E Asia for sure.
Tip at G2E Asia will be there, but no, seriously looking forward to that. It was a great 3 days last year, and really looking forward. I know you guys have upweighted the format again, and you've got a trade expo component to it, so no, really looking forward to that. Yeah.
All right, Richard, I look forward to seeing you around, and good luck with your endeavours during the year.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ben.
Thanks.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.